Good evening, everyone. It's 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which means it's time for Pettit's Puck Talk. Welcome to episode 28. I'm here with Jeff Job. Jeff, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Third week straight without Clay, so, getting a little used to the vacancy, I guess you could say now.
I was used to it the first part.
Yeah, we both like to talk, so not a problem there. Before we dive into things here, I just want to let you guys know Job's brother is going to be coming on again here, talking out some hockey with us, but that's really all I got to lay out before the show, so let's get right into it. Starting off with Auston Matthews' payday. I'm sure most of you have already heard. Toronto has signed Auston Matthews to a 5-year, $58.17 million contract. It also includes a full no-trade clause, so he won't be moved in the last year of his contract. And I also heard that by doing this, they bought up an extra year of free agency, so he can't, instead of having him for 7 years, they have him for 8 years now because they bought out. You know how he was in third year right now?
Yeah.
So he could have been a free agent this year, but since they did it before the free agency,
right.
They bought up that year. So
Wait, so what were you saying about his last year? Like he won't be a UFA? He'll be an
he
RFA?
He can't get traded. Like he can't get moved his last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he can get moved any other year? I mean, not that he would, but...
I think that's how it works. I'm not really sure about the whole specifics of it. That was what I read anyways. But Bob McKenzie, TSN Sports, I believe, he had the layout of the contract, which you sent me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Years 1 and 2, he's going to be making $15.2 million in signing bonus with a $700K salary. Year 3, he's going to be making $9.7 million in signing bonus with a $750K salary. And then the final years 4 and 5, he's going to be making $7.2 million in signing bonuses and $750K in salary. So
definitely front loaded.
Yeah.
Definitely had a possible lockout in mind.
Yeah.
Because I may have been hearing that from you, that he's going to get technically his salary, but his signing bonus still, regardless of a lockout.
And that's what I actually have next year is I think the reason that most of the money is in signing bonuses, and this is just what I've heard. Lockout, like you said, that way if there's a lockout, 2 or 3 years from now, he's still getting paid. Yeah. And then second off, he's an American citizen, so I think it has something to do with taxes too.
True.
I don't know exactly. I'm only 21. I don't know anything, or 22. I don't know anything about taxes.
Yeah,
but
high school failed us.
Yeah, it really did. American schooling system needs to wake up.
We passed them. They failed us. Keep going.
But whatever the idea was there behind the schematics, he's getting paid for sure.
Yeah.
And I know Mitch Marner becomes a free agent this summer, so
he's gonna stay.
I think so. I mean, it seems like Kyle Dubas really knows what he's doing. So
yeah.
I think what they'll do with Marner is load the back half of the contract and kind of ease up on the pay in the first couple years, let them get Tavares and Matthews out of the way.
Yeah.
And then, later down the road.
Because now they got the mess of Nylander.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, hindsight's 20/20, but they look pretty dumb for signing him right now.
Yeah. Especially because Kapanen, that's what I want to talk about too. Isn't he going to be done this summer too?
I think so. And Kapanen, I think, in my honest opinion, Kapanen is 100 times better than Nylander. Yeah. I mean, not literally, but he is definitely the better player of the two, I would say.
I would say literally 100 times.
But, yeah, that was really all I had to say about Matthews. I thought it was a good move by Toronto to lock him up because he's definitely a superstar.
But only 6 years.
Yeah, but, I mean, are they going to need longer than that to get a cup? If they don't get the cup in 6 years, having Tavares, Matthews, Marner, Kapanen...
I mean, that's true. But at the same time, it's some could argue that, he can just re-sign, but that's not what happened with Tavares.
Yeah, that's true.
If we're talking about hindsight, this could turn out just like Tavares.
Yeah. Which actually brings me into my next story. Artemi Panarin is not open to contract discussion. Panarin and his agent, Dan Milstein, have told the Columbus Blue Jackets that they aren't willing to discuss Panarin's future until the season is over. And Job has got his brother on the line, so we're going to talk about this for a little bit.
Hey, James, you're live.
Oh, I couldn't hear what you said, though.
We're just talking about Artemi Panarin not open to contract discussion until the postseason, and we wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Well, what were your thoughts on
that? At this point, I think Columbus is going to make playoffs with Panarin. If they trade him, there's an upside and a downside to trading him. The upside, you won't end up with a Tavares deal where you don't really get anything for losing your best player. But on the downside, if you trade him right now, your playoff hopes kind of dwindle a little bit, I would say, especially with Bobrovsky wanting to leave. So that's really where I'm standing on, and I don't really know what they should do.
I mean, with the situation where Bobrovsky's also trying to leave, I think it makes sense to kind of load up now, even if they're not like a huge contender, because anyone can win. But if it's a kind of not a good window, but it might be a pretty short window with their current core. I don't really think they could retool as well, but I think the fans, with how long they've been around and them not really getting past the first round, I think it's time that they kind of go for it.
Yeah, and that was going to bring me to my point where, Zach, you brought up in the notes that is he trying to win a cup for the Blue Jackets and their fans, and I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that's more just, that might be for his market value, just so teams see he stays focused.
But
I guess.
Personality-wise, I don't know the guy, but I don't think he's about that. I think also that he wasn't drafted by this team, so I don't think he has much sentimental value to the team. As if he was still in Chicago and Chicago was in the position that they're in.
Not only did he not get drafted by Columbus, he chose Chicago because he signed by them as a European undrafted free agent.
Exactly. So I don't know. He got dealt to Columbus. I think he just wants to win in general. I don't think he has this huge sentimental value to the fans.
I agree with that. I think what he's trying to say is that while I'm here, I'm your guy. I'm gonna take this seriously. I'm gonna go for it. I'd be happy here, but I'm not just gonna sit around and do nothing. I want this team to win if I'm on it.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I would say this. I think his top two priorities are probably getting a cup and money, not in that order.
Yeah.
And I don't think city or where he does it matters.
No, I don't either. So, I guess for me personally, if I have to make a decision on this, I got to say I'm getting rid of him because just for the fact of seeing what happened to Tavares and the Islanders this past season, and granted, the Islanders are having a great season, but they really got nothing for Tavares. Without Bruce Boudreau, or not Bruce Boudreau, what's his name?
Trotz.
Yeah, without Trotz, I don't know if they're having as good of a season as they are.
Exactly. They can do better.
Yeah.
But, they can get rid of him and still thrive.
Yeah.
Just like the Islanders did, and they may need to take a page out of that.
Yeah.
But, you were also saying, this whole Bobrovsky thing coming up now, to get rid of those two, they're in complete rebuild now.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I would say about this with Panarin, kind of, not necessarily openly saying this, but kind of implying that I'm not going to re-sign with you guys probably, I think it's better than what Tavares did, where he just kind of whatever, and then, he just leaves at the last minute, and the fans were furious.
Yeah, at least he's kind of giving him a heads up, sort of, this is your last chance to trade me before you get nothing for me, in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much is he making this year?
I don't know. I'm not the numbers.
I would have it up, but my computer is not with me.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to just discuss a little bit.
I would say, not even looking at it, that he's going to be looking for upwards of $9 million if he leaves.
Yeah,
definitely. Guess $9 million. Is that what players like him are going for now, or is that just what he wants?
I think if he goes to a market like Columbus, where he is the star player, that he's probably looking at around $9 million.
$6 million this year. He's $6 million this year. So.
What are his stats like this year?
Pretty solid. I think he's the leading scorer and overall points for Columbus. Let me look that up.
Who?
So, 63 points in 52 games.
That's solid.
That's pretty good.
So he's having a good year.
Yeah.
He's definitely... a payday could be like a...
motivator.
Motivator right now.
That's what happened with Semin. Every time he was up for a contract, he had a great year.
Yeah, so... Who do you think would be in the market for a guy like Panarin?
Chicago, definitely. I think Chicago's where he wants to go, and I think Chicago also has interest in him.
The thing with Chicago is that they're not any good, and I don't think they get better by adding him. They get better, but they're not a contender with him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you think he's looking at going to a contender? Because I was going to say he's probably worried more about the payday right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think
of... Yeah, that's probably true, and I think he also likes it in Chicago, but there's also other things to consider, and I'm sure he's going to consider other things other than just going back to Chicago.
I've also heard Boston, which I could definitely see happening.
I could definitely see that.
I think they have the cap space for it, too, and if they sign him before the deadline, if they somehow manage to get Panarin for somebody, I don't know who or what, but...
And now that Nash is gone, he could get a payday there.
Yeah.
And they're definitely I think they're genuine contenders.
I do too. I mean, especially with a healthy lineup.
I mean, it's not a team where the cup's given to you, but they're especially if they add him, it's definitely something where it's reasonable if they work for
and
it.
They're one of the physical teams that really make an impact in playoffs. You're never really going to see them get knocked out in the first round too often.
Yeah, they're definitely built for playoffs too.
But I'm ready to move on to the next subject unless you guys have something else to add to that.
No, I think we pretty much got.
No, I'm good.
Okay. So next subject, Anaheim has relieved Randy Carlyle of his head coaching duties. The Ducks GM Bob Murray will take over as the interim coach. And a little stat for you, the Ducks only have 2 wins in their last 21 games played. So
it's about time he's gone.
Yeah.
I think firing the coach is the right move here. I don't know whether him just staying around is the best, or the GM coming in is necessarily the best move. Is it interim?
Yeah, it's just interim, but you never know. That could turn into the rest of the season. I mean,
he said end of the season?
No, they all they said was interim, but I mean, I don't see who they're not gonna Joe Quenneville is not going to the Ducks. I don't see them getting a Stanley Cup material or even playoff material type coach at this point in the season.
They're like the Kings are on the downward hill in terms of the roster and the age they have in their team.
Exactly.
Oh no, I honestly didn't think Carlyle was a great coach to begin with.
I didn't either. I mean, he was in. Dude.
Yeah, kind of a muppet. He was in Toronto when the best player was Dion Phaneuf.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Ooh.
Yeah. What do you think about this, James?
I don't have a lot to add on this one. Like I said, I think the numbers speak for themselves. It might necessarily be the coach's fault, but you can't just sit there and do nothing. Unless you're just trying to tank,
which isn't up to the coach anyway.
No.
I'm sure the coach wants to win, but I think it's more the GM maybe.
How long was he there? A few years?
I think so.
I'm just trying to think what his best playoff run was. Maybe second round? Did he even hit a conference final?
I think this is his second time with the Ducks. He was there before, and then he went to Toronto, I guess, and then came back or something. Let's see, coaching. Yeah, so he was with Anaheim when they won the Cup, the first year they won it. And then he was there until 2011, 2012, and then he went to Toronto for 3 years, and then he's been with Anaheim for the past 3 seasons. So, and they made the conference finals 2 years ago.
Oh, they did with him.
Then they lost in round 3. I don't remember who that was. I guess San Jose. Yeah.
Wouldn't have mattered if they would have got pumped by the Penguins.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Where do you see him? Do you see him staying in the show?
It's hard to say. He's been around for so long. I mean, he started in '95 with Winnipeg, so he's been there for almost 30 years now, a little over 20.
He go to
How
Ottawa.
old is he?
He is 62.
Okay, so he might leave. He could leave if he wanted to, but he might just enjoy it.
I could see him in Ottawa. He can't make things anything worse than they already are there.
Definitely not. But yeah, what is this? The 4th, 5th head coach firing this season? It's got to be. I mean,
it's got to be a lot. At least 4.
Yeah, because Edmonton, Philly, Chicago. Yeah, it's got to be at least 4. I don't know if it's 5, but that's enough about that though. Our next story is about the Philadelphia Flyers. They became the second fastest team in NHL history to reach 2,000 wins, beating Vancouver on February 4th. They're now the only expansion-era team to reach that milestone out of the original 6, outside of that. So
wait, is this including the original 6?
No, outside of the original 6.
All right, well, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, who wants to take the reins on this one, boys?
What a joke of an organization. James, I'm thinking we just talk absolutely horrible about this organization.
Well, as long as Clay Shapiro listens to it.
Yeah. He dipped out on the pod itself, so
yeah.
As long as he's listening. Hopefully somebody records this so he can send it to him because he's in class right now, putting school first. I don't know why.
What a dick.
But,
what a mistake.
So, they beat Vancouver. Was Vancouver ever really a wagon?
No. They're a bubble team right now,
yeah.
In my honest opinion. But, 2,000 wins is 2,000 wins. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And you said they were the second fastest to do it.
Yes, I don't know.
Behind, you said Vancouver.
No, Vancouver was third. Or will be third, I think.
I don't know who they beat. Fastest team in the NHL to reach.
I bet it's the Penguins, if I had to be honest.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Tom Wilson's done a lot for the Caps.
Get out of here with that.
Tom Wilson is scummy.
He's going to have his name in Toronto forever.
I hope he's the first player to be kicked out of the league.
If Todd Bertuzzi made it, I think he'll be good.
Who was the other guy, too? Raffle? Didn't Raffle have like a 48-game suspension that one time?
Oh, you're thinking of Raffi Torres.
Oh, yeah, Raffi Torres. That's right.
That's ridiculous. I know there's been some players kicked out of the KHL.
That doesn't surprise me.
Rumor has it that their league is ran by the mob. One of their teams is.
You hate to see it.
Montreal is the first fastest, so I guess their second fastest. I should have known that. They're second fastest in the whole league, so they've beat every other original six team to that milestone besides Montreal.
Really?
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I mean, when you do the math, Montreal has 24 cups. So I mean, it's kind of we should have known that.
Well, they have 25 cups and 25 NHL championships, but only 24 NHL Stanley Cups.
Okay, so they got some cups before it was the Stanley Cup, I guess, or some championships before it was.
Yeah. There was 1 year before they were in the NHL where they won the cup, and then there was a year they were the NHL championship, but then they lost the cup.
Okay. But I mean, love or hate the Flyers, which I absolutely hate the Flyers. Penguins play them tonight. Not looking forward to it because they're hot right now.
Enemy of my enemy.
Yeah.
Love the Flyers.
But that's an impressive milestone for sure. And you probably got to credit a lot of those wins to the Broad Street Bullies.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Back in the days when they were just dummying people.
Yeah, because Claude Giroux is a Muppet.
Yeah.
So he hasn't done anything for that organization. They should just wave him tomorrow morning.
But, anything to add to that, James?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
James. See ya.
Thanks.
So, some hockey insight there, courtesy of James Job. Always appreciated. Going up next in our little podcast here, we got 2 trades to cover. So, Nashville has acquired Brian Boyle, and they reacquired Cody McLeod. They traded a 2019 second-round pick to New Jersey for Boyle, and this is kind of insulting, but a 2020 seventh-round pick to the Rangers for Cody McLeod.
I think I got Jonathan Toews with that.
Maybe.
If I'm a Nashville fan, I'm psyched right now.
Oh, yeah.
Get Brian Boyle.
Because, at this point, they're going to playoffs.
Yeah, and this is definitely a player you get to make a push. He's great on the dot. He's a big guy. He has experience.
Good penalty killer, too. Yeah. Solid penalty killer.
Everything you want.
But I basically saw this as just them trying to add size and physicality to their roster heading into playoffs. You're not going to want to go into a quarter with Cody McLeod and Game 7 of round 2. Your body's already taking a beating.
Yeah. You'll lose to Pittsburgh again that
way. One can only hope. But good trade, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like New Jersey. Huge Taylor Hall fan. It sucks to see Boyle go because he was a big piece of that and a huge part of their success last year. But I think as a hockey fan and if I was a Nashville fan, I'd be really hyped about this trade.
Our second trade is between Philadelphia and Montreal. Philadelphia has dealt Dale Weiss and Christian Folin to Montreal in exchange for Byron Fries and David Schlemko. Weiss's previous stint with Montreal, he had 152 games played with 27 goals and 32 assists, so not too impressive on the stats, but he's not really a stats kind of guy. Folin has 26 games played with Philadelphia this season, registering only 2 assists. Fries and Schlemko from Montreal now. Fries has played the whole 2018-19 season in the AHL with Montreal's minor team, the Laval Rocket. And Schlemko has played 18 games with Montreal this season and 8 in the AHL with Laval as well. So,
I mean, I've seen all over Instagram about Weiss's first stint in Montreal, so I don't know if he did something important or whatever.
He didn't. I have it up here actually. He only had 27 goals, 32 assists, but I think he fits in with that roster pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a chippy guy. He was there when Placanitz was still there. Yeah. All those Pacioretty, so he was a good fit. I think Montreal definitely won this trade. I don't really see anything beneficial to Philly with Fries and Schlemko.
Yeah.
And I think, Weiss is a good addition for playoffs too, because Montreal, and I called this on the pod weeks ago, and you and Clay pooped on me for it. But I said Montreal was a sleeper team, and I think they're making the playoffs.
They were a sleeper team.
But yeah.
Konkanemi.
Sick.
Getting a ring? Probably.
Eventually. I don't think it'll happen this year.
I know they gave out rings to 12-year-olds.
But, I mean, anything can happen with Carey Price in your net. You know, that guy's a stud.
He could turn it up. Weber could get back to his Nashville self.
Exactly. And Jeff Petrie, very underrated.
Yeah.
He's a solid defenseman. Top 2 on most teams, I would think. Besides San Jose.
They got Melee. I don't know how you pronounce it. I think he won a World Junior.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He could turn it up.
So I'll be interested to see where both of these teams land come the postseason because I think they're both going to make their way in. Philly heating up right now. They've got a chance still. Montreal, I think they're going right now anyways. But that's all the trade talk. Moving into our playoff picture, I just wanted to talk about the East versus the West here. So your last place spot in the East is Ottawa with 47 points, and they're 16 points out of the second wild card spot. So that's 8 games of just straight winning to even have a chance.
They got time.
Yeah, they got about 30 games, so they better be winning 3 out of every 4.
They got time.
On the other hand, in the West, Anaheim's in the last place spot, and they have 51 points. However, they're only 8 points out of the first and second wild card spots as it stands today. So the West used to be the better conference. And now it's the East. Do you have any thoughts on this?
These teams suck.
Yeah.
I mean, who are they going to get?
Winnipeg or Nashville?
Oh, no, I was going to say draft pick wise, because that's what they're looking at right now.
Capo?
Yeah. They're going to miss out on Hughes.
That's if they win the lottery. I mean, granted, they'll have the best chance, but yeah, if I'm Anaheim, I'm just tanking from here on out and going for a draft
and
pick.
if I'm Ottawa, I'm just not even surprised at this point.
If I'm Ottawa, I'm just folding the team and moving it to Quebec City / Houston.
Dude, I've been saying, put a team south of the border. I think that'd be pretty
Mexico?
sick. Yeah.
In a third world country? Is that okay to say on here? Is that PC?
PG? Yeah. We're incompetent anyway, so you can't really blame us. But I think that'd be pretty dope.
It would be cool, but
obviously, I don't think the market's there, but
and then with that, you also got to think about contracts and salary and all that kind of stuff because
that's true.
It's way more expensive to live down in Mexico than it is. Or, hang on, how would that work? Because $1 is worth 20 pesos. So does that make it more expensive down there or cheaper down there?
I think it's just even.
Okay, fair enough.
I think they just all put it into U.S. currency and worry about the rest later.
Yeah, I agree. But we had a graphic we saw on NHL on NBC Sports on Facebook that we wanted to talk about. It's called the Pro Hockey Talk Power Rankings, the contenders, and I think this list is a joke.
Yeah.
So number 1, they've got Pittsburgh, my boys, but I don't think Pittsburgh's a contender this year for sure. Number 2, they've got Vegas, which I can see that kind of. I definitely think they'll be in playoffs and make a deep run. I don't know if they're contenders necessarily. 3 is Boston, which I can agree with. 4 is the Caps, which playoffs, yes. Contenders,
Here's what I think. So how it's been set up is Pittsburgh plays Washington in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
So how can they put both of them in there?
That's what I'm saying.
If you're really going to analyze it, then just figure out which of them is better and then put them in the pile because you can't say that one team going out of the second round is a contender when you know one of those is.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the way they reorganized the playoff setup, I do think it's better than what it was in the past, but if Pittsburgh and Washington are both in the playoffs, they're going to see each other in the second round. It's almost guaranteed. And it's kind of boring. I mean, it's not boring. It's a great playoff series, but I like to see a little variation, you know?
Exactly. And I think we're fans of each team, but speaking for both of us, I think that whoever wins that series this year, I don't think they're winning the next series.
No, I don't either.
I think it's going to be like a Toronto or it's going to be probably a Tampa team that's going to the finals this year.
I think Tampa's got... I can't believe Tampa's not on that list is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
They've been top of the league all season practically.
Stacked defense, offense, goalie.
And then I remember you said Nashville and Winnipeg aren't on there either, which is another surprise. I mean, they only have one team from the West, like you said, too. So.
And it's Vegas. Are they really going to go back-to-back to the finals?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I don't think so either. But interesting to see the playoff picture right now, where it's at, and just how different both conferences are for sure. Because it was, 10 years ago, the West was definitely the more dominant conference.
Yeah.
Moving into milestones for the week, Patrice Bergeron has reached 1,000 games played.
I feel like there's a new one every week.
Dude, I know. I was gonna say that too. This is the 12th, I think, of the season.
Yeah.
It's insane. But did you see Pasternak going for the empty net, and he just drops it to Bergeron in his 1,000th game and let him tuck it? Yeah, it was sick.
Good guy alert.
It was sweet. Next up on the milestone list, we have Ovechkin. He's passed Sergei Fedorov for the most points by a Russian-born player. He now has 1,183. So he's putting up impressive numbers. And
He's going for you, Gretzky, next.
yeah. Well, if I'm being honest, I think Ovechkin is going to go down as the best goal scorer to ever play in the NHL and better than Gretzky. And that might be a bold statement, but...
I mean, I don't think, honestly, goal scoring wise, I wouldn't even put Gretzky up there. I'd put like Mike Bossy, not Bure, Hull.
Yeah, Brett Hull.
Brett Hull. I'd put Bossy. I'd put Ovi. I think Gretzky greatest over all around and greatest playmaker, but like sniping it, goal scoring, like he was shooting through tinfoil.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People always have that discussion, like you can't compare superstars from the 80s and 90s to superstars of today.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it all is relative.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving into our next milestone, one superstar to the next. Sidney Crosby has passed Mario Lemieux for the Pens leader in games played with 916.
This is surprising to me.
Yeah, me too. But, I mean, you have to consider the fact that Lemieux had cancer for a couple years, had to sit out a couple years. If he was healthy, I think he would have been
Did he end his career early, too, because of that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He had back problems, cancer, all kinds of stuff. So I think had he had a healthy career, he would have been well into the 1500s. But at the same time, Crosby hasn't had a healthy career either. He's missed a full season just because of concussions. So, I mean...
Is he what are they looking at points-wise? Is Crosby even close?
That's a good question. I can tell you right now. Mario Lemieux. Hockey. DB. Okay, so Mario Lemieux had 1,723 points, and Sidney Crosby is currently sitting around 1,100, I want to say.
You said 17 for Lemieux?
1,723, yeah.
That's nuts.
Sidney Crosby, 1,178, so
he was almost 2 points a game.
Yeah, he was
nuts.
nasty.
That's ridiculous. And it was past the 80s point. Like, that was 90s. Like
90s and a little bit of 2000s.
Not bad hockey.
But, I mean, I think Crosby's got at least 4 or 5 more, maybe 3 or 4 more years of doing what he's doing right now. And, I mean, that gives him some time to catch him. Yeah. I mean, he's on his 62 points in 52 games this year. He's more than a point a game. I think he could get to 100 this year, maybe.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see for sure. But anything to add to the milestones talk?
I wouldn't really count Bergeron. Bergeron, you're not special.
Yeah, once Marchand reaches 1,000 games, that's not getting broadcasted, just so you guys know.
Yeah, but Tom Wilson, Hall of Fame, we'll be talking about it.
But Marchand, rat.
I will say this. Last night, he had a nasty backhand toe drag. Drew a penalty out of it. That's why we don't talk about basketball on the show. And the NBA is a joke.
Yeah.
We could, start a whole series about that. But
featuring Ryan Whitney.
Yeah, we'll bring on Clay for that. He's good. He's good at talking about stuff he doesn't know nothing about.
Moving into fantasy hockey and injuries, we got John Gibson from Anaheim. He's day-to-day with an undisclosed. Ian Cole from Colorado, injured reserve with the upper body after Tom Wilson, Job's boy, absolutely dummied him in a fight.
Hate to see it. Love to see it.
Ben Bishop of Dallas is on the IR with the UBI. Mikko Koivu of Minnesota is on the IR with a torn right ACL and meniscus. That's probably season ending.
Yeah,
maybe even career ending. He's old.
He is old. I don't think. I could see him coming back and then saying I think he's gonna come back next year. If he re-injures it, I think he's done.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's.
I could see that.
I don't think right now he's done.
And then last but not least, we have Alexander Edler of Vancouver on the IR with a knee. Dude, did you see the video last week?
Bad.
Dude, he busted his face on the ice. Like, blood everywhere. They carried him off on a stretcher. I think that was the play he injured his knee, too.
Shout out Jamie Arnold.
Yeah, real talk. Jamie Arnold. But, yeah, that wraps up injuries. But Mikko Koivu, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
I think Minnesota, you could also consider a bubble team this year.
Yeah, exactly.
If they make playoffs, they'll be hurting without a veteran like that. Moving into who's hot and who's not.
We got some wagons to talk about.
Yeah, we do. Chicago on the hot list coming up first here on a 7-game winning streak, 7-2-1 in their last 10, making a push for the playoffs there.
Worth a Ric Flair woo. I won't do it though.
Woo!
There it is.
St. Louis on a 6-game winning streak. They're 7-2-1 over their last 10 as well, also trying to make their push for the playoffs. You got San Jose with a 5-game winning streak, 7-3-0 over their last 10. They've been playing well all season.
That's solid.
Yep.
I think they're starting to pick it up, too. They kind of had a slow start. I think Carlson had a rough time adjusting.
Yeah, it looks like he's really gelled into that lineup,
Yeah, exactly.
though.
I think they're definitely moving in the direction of being really dangerous come May.
And I mean, who wouldn't love to see Joe Thornton get a cup? You know.
Yeah.
That sucks though that if when Patrick Marleau left, if they get it then, I mean, he was there for what, like 20 seasons.
What if it's Toronto and San Jose in the final?
That'd be nuts, dude.
That'd be wild.
That'd be a sick final though. Last on the hot list, we got the New York Islanders on a 3-game winning streak. They're 7-1-2 over their last 10.
Solid too. Like we were talking about earlier, they don't really need John Tavares when they got good management going.
I mean, Matt Barzal stepped up. They have solid goaltending. They pretty much have 2 starters on their team that they can just alternate. Anyways, moving into the not-so-hot list, this shouldn't surprise anybody after what we talked about earlier on the show. We got Anaheim at the top of the list on a 7-game losing streak.
That's it?
Yeah, 2-8-0 over their last 10. And then we got Detroit with a 3-game losing streak, 5-5-0 over their last 10. Shout out Porterfield and Dano.
Should have kept Zadina in the lineup. But
Absolutely. Instead he's down in, Grand Rapids, just developing.
Just chilling like a villain.
Probably tearing it up. Let's look up his stats,
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day.
I want to see how he's doing. Philip Zadina.
Chilling at 6 points a game.
Probably. Just ripping it up. 25 points in 41. Not terrible. Not super good.
I mean, I think also at the same time you can't really correlate that because the AHL is like so different in style.
You got guys out there that just want to rip your head off all night.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, unless you're real nasty, like, I remember during the last lockout, like, half the Oilers starting lineup was, like, playing for the Barons, and they were just tearing it up.
Yeah.
Like, Nick Schultz was, like, leading the league in points. And, like, that was the lockout that half the team, or it was just half the season, and, like, to, like, the very last week of the whole season, like, he was still leading the league in points.
That's wild.
As a defenseman.
I think I heard about that, too.
Yeah, like, they were just an absolute wagon. So I think unless you're nasty like that or have a core like that, like, I don't think him doing not much is a big deal.
Yeah, but, I mean, as far as Chicago and St. Louis go, do you think these teams... I to be honest with you, I think Chicago's going to make the playoffs. If they keep playing this way, dude, Patty Kane's been lighting it up, Johnny Tay's been lighting it up. St. Louis, on the other hand, I mean, they got that. They're in a wild card spot right now.
They could keep it.
It's their.
I don't think it's a done deal, but they could keep it.
Their goalie Binnington, kid's nasty.
Yeah,
kid is nasty.
And I mean, I think at first Chicago, they're kind of shell shocked to lose Quenneville. They didn't, like some chickens running around with their head cut off.
Yeah,
but I think they've sort of settled into the new system. They're starting to find their ways again.
Well, dude, here's the thing to consider about Chicago. This 7-game winning streak, Corey Crawford's injured still, dude. They're working with Cam Ward and Colin Delia.
Cam Ward going for that new ring.
Hell yeah. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all that pans out. And that was all we had today. You got any comments?
That was a solid pod.
I thought so, too. We hope you guys enjoyed it.
We know you did.
Yeah. Thanks for listening anyways. And, keep giving the boys some love here, all right?
Yeah. We take donations.
Yeah, we do. And Venmo in particular. I don't have Cash App. I have PayPal, too.
Yeah. Venmo.
All right, well, we'll catch you guys here next Monday at the same time. Thank you.